Hello friends, this is Charlene with the Southern Gals Kitchen, and I am in a new kitchen today. I'm in my friend Verna's kitchen, and we're going to do Halloween Sweetness Show, and I know you're going to love it. We're going to have some chili and tell you some stories behind it. We're going to have a 100-year-old apple cake, and Verna's going to show you how to make a centerpiece with a pumpkin. It's really, really cute. And Verna's the devil and I'm the kitty. Verna!
Hello all.
Got her tail on. I'm getting away from her. This cat's running. Most of you know I do work with the kitties as I decided to be a kitty. So we will be right back with you in a minute, and we know you're going to love this show.
Browning the hamburger meat. This is a recipe that has been handed down through the Methodist Church for years and years and years. We won 3 People's Choice Award trophies for 3 years in a row. So okay. I've added to I use ground chunk instead of ground beef because it's more lean and you don't have to do a lot of draining. In addition, I also add a cup of liquid. You can add beef stock. I add a cup of beer. The beer cooks out in the cooking process. So the meat is just about browned and it's ready to start adding some ingredients. The first thing I'm going to add is onion. And then we're going to stir those in. Let them...
chopped up onion? How much did you put in there? 1 or 2?
I used 1 medium chopped onion, and I always use yellow onion. It has more flavor. It just gives it a little bit more of a bite if you like hot chili. My mother always told me if you were cooking with onion, if you're not cooking with yellow onion, you're not cooking.
So is the yellow onion like a sweet Vidalia? Because that's what I usually use.
Nope, yellow onion is a little warmer than a Vidalia. It has a little more bite to it, a little more flavor to it, as to where the Vidalia is sweeter. Yes.
Yeah, I use those a lot.
So I'm going to just stir that in here.
Well, what do? Do you eat chili on Halloween? I know every Halloween, for years and years and years, I've always made chili. And I can't even remember, but it seems like my mother made chili sometimes. I don't think she always did. But we always like chili and peanut butter sandwiches or chili and pimento cheese sandwiches. And it just seemed like you could put it on the cook, you could go answer the door with trick-or-treaters and come back, and it was just Halloween. That's just perfect. What you did on Halloween.
Yes. So, yes, we do it on Halloween. We have grilled cheese, or we'll have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. A lot of people will say peanut butter and jelly sandwich with chili. Oh, me too. It's not chili unless you have that peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
We had them at school growing up as kids when we had chili usually once a week. They always had peanut butter sandwiches, and I guess I just grew up doing that. And
delicious.
Delicious, yeah.
Staple.
If you haven't tried it, you need to try it. You'll love it. The kids will love it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
It's a favorite with my grandchildren.
Yep.
So now I am going to add in 2 cans. I use chili beans. Again, I use the chili beans because there's a little bit more of a bite. I use 2 12-ounce cans. I've also used black beans. I've used kidney beans. A lot of people rinse the sauce off of them. I say that's where the flavor comes from, and I pour it just all in.
I want every bit of that goodness in there.
Yes.
Chili beans do have a really unique... Sometimes I will put black beans, but I'll still put chili beans in there usually because I really like them. My mother always used the chili beans, and
they just have a really good flavor.
I love them.
They just give it
great
that
chili.
Extra.
Yep. They're great in chili.
And then what I'm going to add in is just chili powder.
How much is that?
I have about a cup of chili powder here.
Wow, okay.
That's a lot of chili powder. But again, we like it kind of spicy. Some do not like it that spicy. Some like it sweet. We're not sweet chili eaters. We're spicy chili eaters.
I like spicy.
So we're just going to add that in. And we're going to stir it till it's all mixed in together. And it's looking so good. So
smells good
thick and hearty.
It's getting thick. It's looking thick.
So my recipe actually calls for chopped green peppers. It calls for minced garlic, but in lieu of of doing all that extra work, I'm kind of a lazy cook. I will just get a can of chopped chilies, chopped chili peppers, has the tomatoes in it, with
Peppers.
has the peppers. It has everything in there you need. That's what it is. And I just stir that in and make sure it's
good.
all mixed together. It is looking delicious, isn't it?
Can't wait to eat it.
It's going to be great. It's a perfect day for it. Well, it could be a little cooler, but
Might have to make us a peanut butter sandwich to go with it.
we can do that. We can do that. And then the last thing I add is tomato sauce. I add I think it's a 29, it's a 29 ounce can of tomato sauce. It's a large can of tomato sauce. And then I just stir that in. And then I put it on low and just let it simmer and let all of the food just kind of blend together. The spices, the mixture of the beans and the bean juice, along with the tomatoes with the tomato juice. And once it simmers, it's going to thicken up a bit. Simmering.
Very good. How long do you let it cook?
So I will let it, when it starts simmering, I will let it cook for about 5 to 6 minutes to simmer. Stir it often so it does not burn.
Yum, yum.
Then I remove it from the heat, put the lid on it,
Can't
and
wait.
prepare the rest of the food.
Can't wait. All right. Well, we're going to go next. We're going to come back and eat this later, but we're going to show you how to make an apple cake. I've got an apple cake recipe. Let me get over here, you can see me. I've got an apple cake recipe that's my Aunt Mabel's. She's passed away a long time ago. My mother's been gone several years too. But that recipe was given to my mother from my aunt and handed down to us. It's over 100 years. I couldn't tell you if it's 150 or what. But it's a really moist, very simple. It's just a little square cake pan. You could double it if you wanted to make a bigger one. But it's a real moist cake that just is our family's favorite. The kids love it. The grandkids love it. It's, other than peeling the apples, you could put it together in 10 minutes. Peeling apples, take 2 cups of apples, cut up. It doesn't take very long. But we're going to start making that in just a minute. So y'all hang on. Come back and see us in just a minute. We're back. We'll welcome you back. And we're going to make my Aunt Mabel's, my mother's, she gave it to me, old-fashioned apple cake. And I'm just going to give you a list of the ingredients. And I want to tell you something before I start. You see this book? This is a scrapbook. My sister made this, and it has my mother's favorite recipe. She loved to cook. She's always cooking. And it's got her recipes and family pictures, and the apple cake is in there. I mean, if you want to capture and keep your mom's recipes, do a scrapbook. And my sister made it, and then she made copies, so we all of us kids had a copy. And I can make a copy and give it to my kids. I can give them one that I've got, and I have 2 kids. But you can just keep passing it on that way. But it's got trips where we went to Texas. It's got just her favorite recipes: chocolate dessert, cheesecake. She always made cheesecake, rhubarb crumb, and some of these I'm going to make for us, different shows. There's beef stroganoff. I love beef stroganoff. Sherbet tea punch. It was my mom and dad's wedding anniversary, 50th. I actually made that cake. I don't know if you can see it, but I made that cake. I used to do cake decorating. I don't do that anymore. I don't have time. But I did enjoy it. Blackberry cobbler, just a lot of Texas cake. Y'all know the old Texas sheet cakes? You ever make those?
Yes.
That's a favorite of mine. I'm going to do that one day. You can do different versions on it, but I love Texas sheet cake. Another really simple cake. But let me get back to my apple cake recipe.
What a great gift to hand down from generation to generation.
It's just awesome, isn't it?
It is.
She even put pictures of my mother when she was back very young. My mother was 92 and she passed away. But like before she got married, and we had mother collected pictures too, and recipes. And what we did is we took all those recipes, put them on CDs. She would handwrite them. Most of them were handwritten. She just loved cooking and loved collecting recipes and pictures. She had so many. You remember when you started having it or where you had it?
Actually, I do remember when I've had apple cake and where I had it. It was with you, an apple cake that you made.
Oh, okay.
When we used to work together.
Must have been this one then, probably.
I think it might have been.
Might have been. That's
that
usually
one.
the one I make.
So I've learned so many good things and so many good foods and recipes, and the most important thing I've learned from Charlene is how to make a candy cane out of a cookie.
Oh, we're going to do that show. That's coming up. That was funny. I'll take just a minute and tell you about it. But we worked together, and we had clients, and we wanted to make candy cane cookies for them for Christmas. So we had behavioral health place is what it was. But anyway, we were making candy cane cookies, and I have made them all my life. My kids make them, my grandkids make them, my mother always made them, but they take a little bit of time and a little patience to make them into little candy canes. So we're going to do that. Well, I was showing Verna how to do it. It was a little bit funny. She would roll and twist it. Somehow it didn't make a candy cane for a while. She finally got it. My granddaughter was the same way. She'd get, oh, I can't do this. But after you do it a time or two, you can do them. But we're going to do that, and I'll have Verna. We'll make that together. That'd be a great show. You're in for a treat. You have to work with them. But yeah, the apple cake, I've got a couple of that. I've got a 3-layer apple cake that I make too. That's Irish apple cake. I might do that one day later on. But let's go ahead with my Aunt Mabel Summers apple cake right now. And we're going to use 1 cup of sugar, which I have here. And I'm going to go ahead. You want to dump the stuff in, Verna, as I say it?
I do.
That won't be good. Let me get this out of the way. Cup of sugar, 1 egg, and it's already beaten up. We've got it beaten up there. We'll let you beat on some of the stuff, kind of whip it together with a fork or spoon. 1/2 cup of shortening. Just kind of beat that up first and then put the shortening in there. So you want to kind of always mix your egg and your sugar. You know, I think I did some shows on baking, the banana nut bread and things I did. You want to whip up your egg and sugar to make it really creamy before you start adding anything else in there, because that sugar has to dissolve in that egg and really make it creamy. Now you do your egg, sugar, and butter a lot of times the same way. So we're going to add the shortening next, and we're going to keep beating. We'll let Verna beat. Well, I just tell her what to do. I'm going to be supervisor
Get
today.
my workout.
There you go. Let's get this off. Got those long devil sleeves in there. I don't know about that, Verna. All right, so we got our shortening in. So it's 1 cup of sugar. I have 1 egg, 1/2 cup of shortening. I did use butter flavored shortening. You can use plain. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, if you'll notice, your old recipes call for shortening. Modern ones will call for butter. And I've listened to a lot of the real professional chefs, and a lot of them will use butter and oil together. That's going to make your most, a lot of times I'll do that too. It makes things really moist. Butter sometimes in a cake can dry it out by itself. The shortening won't dry it out. But if you don't want to use shortening, I've never made it with butter, but I guess you could. I don't know how it would be with the oil either. If it were on me, I'd just use shortening. But that's your call. So we got 1 cup of sugar, egg, 1/2 cup of shortening. We've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This is so, you don't need a mixer, you just stir this by hand. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not powder, soda. We got that.
So what's the difference in the baking soda and the powder?
Well, the baking soda generally is used with things like biscuits and things like that. They're both rise, but like in cookies, baking soda is used a lot of times to make your cookies spread out, where baking powder makes things rise up. I don't know exactly why this recipe, baking soda is always used with buttermilk too. There's no buttermilk in here, so it's an old recipe. I'm not sure why the soda, but that's how it's done, and it does rise up, makes some nice cakes. Makes a square cake is what we're going to make. All right, we get that all mixed up. It's looking pretty good. Okay, we're going to add the flour. Excuse my reach here. We've got flour. Let me get this out. Well, you can use that then. We've got a pinch, and I mean just a pinch of salt, and 1 cup of flour. We're just going to mix it. You always want to mix your flour and your salt, because sometimes that salt in that liquid will just get together, and then it won't be evenly mixed. Sometimes even with the flour, you can mix your baking soda or your baking powder. Most modern recipes would do that. This one doesn't, but it works the way it is, so I'm not going to mess with it. Anything this old that works and tastes this good, I'm not messing with it. All right, that's mixed together. I'll dump it in if you want to stir.
Yes.
That's just how easy this cake comes together. I mean, it's like, it's so back here out of the way. And then, when you get all that mixed up, we've got 2 cups of diced apples already fixed for us. We put just a tiny bit of lemon juice on there so they wouldn't brown. You can do that. And you don't need the lemon for the cake. It's just so the apples won't brown as we cut them up. And then we've got a cup of nuts chopped up, pecans. You don't have to have the nuts, they're optional. If you don't want nuts in it, don't put them in there. But I like them, so. Y'all like nuts in them?
Yes.
We're gonna eat this, so we're gonna have nuts in it. All right, when that's really mixed up well, then we'll put in our apples and our, get that little bit in there. We don't want to waste any of this.
No,
Let's put our
it's
apples
looking
in.
good.
You might want to get your spoon. I don't know if you want a spoon or a spatula. This is 2 cups of diced apple. And the apples is what's going to keep it moist, obviously. That's anytime you add apples or fruit to a cake, it's generally going to be really moist. And the 2 cups of apples really does the trick here.
And is that why some people substitute applesauce for oil?
Applesauce makes things really moist in a cake too. I think oil still gives a little more flavor. If you really can't have the oil for dietary purposes, health reasons or something, applesauce is a good substitute. But you know, a lot of people are allergic to dairy, and some people in my family are. And so when you think about all these modern recipes they call for butter, I told this family member that can't have the dairy, I said, you can use shortening, like in pie crust, you can use shortening. I'd make a shortening crust, I'd make a butter crust. I made in one of my shows an apple dumpling crust, which is butter and shortening. But any of that will work. Yeah, that's looking good. That's about all you need. Just stir in the nuts. We got a cup of chopped pecans. Back this out of the way. And that's all there is to it. And then we're going to, you got the oven on 350?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to pour it in here and get it kind of mixed up there. And that's all there is to it. And we're going to bake it 50 minutes. Now you might check it, but it does take it a while to bake. So 50 minutes is what it calls for. And anyway, you can do either size. One would just be a little thicker. If you use 8x8, it's going to be thicker than a 9x9, obviously. And mine, if the thicker, could take just a tiny bit longer too to cook. Okay, we're going to dump this in. You want to pull that camera down? They can see what we're doing better maybe. There we go. Dump this in and smooth it out a little bit and it's ready to go. It's a simple, simple recipe. You know, I've got so many really old recipes. They're Southern. I say they're Southern, but I think Northerners like them too. But things like apple cakes and apple pie, I mean, those are really just, I call them American recipes. All Americans love those kinds of things. So you can see we're just going to smooth that out and bake it about 50 minutes. Cute little orange spatula there. I like to tap it. I'm tapping this on the counter. Any cake just gets the air bubbles out. Gets the air bubbles out, yeah. So, beat up her cabinet here for her. All right, in the oven she goes. All right, we will take a break here and we'll come back in just a few minutes, so don't go anywhere. We're going to show you how to do a pumpkin centerpiece. Verna's got a really, really cute one. You're going to love it. Come back with us. All right, we're back now, and Verna's going to show us how to do this wonderful, cute little pumpkin centerpiece. You can do this for Halloween. You can do it for Thanksgiving. You can. How long would this keep, I wonder, with a real pumpkin?
So if you keep it cool, it'll last way past Thanksgiving.
Okay, inside the house, cool, yes. It should be okay.
And if you don't actually do the carving until you're ready to use it as a centerpiece, right, or for whatever purpose. I've used this at baby showers for babies
cool,
that were due in October. Cool. I've used this. I worked at the hospital for patients that come in. I'll have this and just kind of
very cool looking. Very cool looking. All right, tell us how you do that.
So this is very, very simple. So you just get your pumpkin. I drew this ghost, and I will carve it probably closer to Halloween, and I will take this out to trick-or-treaters. We usually have about 500 trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood. So I will take this out and let the kids grab a sucker off of it for Halloween.
Cool idea.
Yeah. So
that is so cool.
Yeah.
That's a
So
neat
they love
idea.
it. So it's simple. It's very, very simple. A bag of suckers of your choice. I just use Tootsie Roll Pops. I've used Charms Blow Pops. You can use just any kind of sucker you want, really. The bigger suckers with the more colorful wrapping are more festive. So you have your suckers. You have your pumpkin. The most important tool here, poking the holes in to get the sucker to stick in there. What you really need is something that is about the same size, the diameter of your sucker, so it'll fit in there and it's not really a whole lot of work to get the hole in. I use my beater.
Oh, for a mixer?
For a mixer.
Well, that's
My
really
mixer
cool.
Beater.
Good idea.
My grandkids love this. My grandkids love to help with this.
Yeah.
So really all you do is you just stick this, and I just have to kind of screw it in a little bit and give it a little pressure, and it will not let you go too deep because
It's got a place.
that's
Ingenious.
stops.
That is
Yes.
so smart.
So I just put that and just space it out ever how you want. Put as many bags of suckers on there as you want. This is just a simple, fun thing to do.
Kids
love to do
Yeah,
it. Yes. Like I say, my grandchildren, they love to do this, and they eat a lot of suckers while we do this. It doesn't make Mama happy, but
Oh, well, they'll survive.
Grandma,
We all survived.
I'm
didn't we?
gammy, so
That's
I
right.
can do whatever I want. So I just poke the holes in there until we have all of the suckers in. And so I am going to, for Halloween night, I'm going to actually carve this, and I am going to have one of the candlelight holes in this and stick all these suckers in here until there are no more suckers. And then you can just set it anywhere in your house. I would recommend keeping it in the house. The temperatures right now, unless you're in a cooler climate, the temperatures right now are just too warm to be carving. The pumpkin will just rot.
And if it's freezing, it would freeze, so it would get mushy.
Yeah, it would get, yes.
Well, that is such a cute idea.
So,
that is so neat for kids to make, and your grandkids. Like
doesn't take long to do
it. My grandkids are grown. They may not want to do it.
So, look, it's still fun for all ages.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's a neat idea.
And it's fun for people to...
It's fun for Grammys, too.
Oh, yes. I love doing Halloween stuff. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays because I love the fall colors. I love all the bright colors. I love all the candy that I don't need. All the delicious apple cake. It's just a wonderful time of the year. You get to go on hay rides. It's just a fun time of the year.
Yeah, you kids still do hay rides much anymore. I wonder.
Yeah,
we did them as kids, but I don't know anymore.
So we're going to try to have a hay ride this year at my daughter's house. They just bought a house out in the country. So, and there's a bunch of gravel roads that are not very busy. So it'll be the first time ever I think they've been on a hay ride.
Well, you know, a lot of city kids that live in the cities probably don't get much opportunity to do that because you have to have a place out in the country to do a hay ride and be safe.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of it's kind of sad though because hay rides are such fun for kids.
Yeah.
All right, we are ready to taste. We've got our chili. Verna made some peanut butter sandwiches, our favorite, and we've got our apple cake. It smells delicious in here. I wish you could smell it. The cake is it just smells like fall. Chili always smells like fall. So we're gonna do a little tasting and see if we did good. I'll tell you what. We got our even pretty little Halloween napkins.
Yes.
Cool. Verna loves Halloween. She's got all the Halloween goodies.
It is my all-time favorite.
Well, I like it, but I'm not much on decorating, I guess.
I love the little trick-or-treaters, the outfits. Now, the 500 trick-or-treaters was a shock, but
yeah, I've
gotten used to it.
That's a lot. We used to have a lot when our kids were small, but we don't have so many anymore. In fact, sometimes we hardly have any, which is very different. I kind of like having a little more.
This is delicious.
That chili is perfect. It's got the right amount of heat for that chili powder. Those chili beans, they are perfect. That tomato with, what did you say was in it? Peppers and...
It's peppers and tomatoes with it has a little bit of onion mixed in with it.
It's just the
It's a
right
good
amount of
combination.
spice.
Yes.
It's not too hot. It's not a sweet chili like she said. It's just perfect.
So what I like to do, Charlene, with my peanut butter and jelly sandwich is I
Dip
like
it?
to dip it
You go right
into
into
my chili.
I never had, but I'll try it.
Mmm, so good.
And you can do grilled cheese, pimento cheese.
Good. Very good.
Well, this has been so much fun. So much fun with my friend Verna. Verna and I go back a long way.
We've had lots of fun
Lots of
times.
fun. We're going to have a lot more, too.
Yes, we are.
We're going to make those candy cane cookies. Oh, me. You can have fun with us. I'm going to finish that chili in a minute, but we're going to taste this cake.
It looks
smells
delicious.
too good. It's so moist. And this cup,
Look.
we in a 9-inch pan, which is what that was actually. It cooked in 45 minutes. An 8-inch might take the full 50. It made 9 pieces, 9 squares, nice squares.
It is perfect. It is so scrumptious.
Toast that cinnamon,
Yes.
the sugar, the apples.
Just
It
what?
couldn't be any better.
No.
Couldn't
Just
be
what
more.
fall is all about. Especially with apple picking season.
Right. It is absolutely one of my favorite cakes. See if you can see. If I don't drop it, if you can see from that distance. But it's just a real moist, just perfect cake. Like I said, sometimes the old recipes are the best recipes.
Oh, absolutely. And just think all the fall activities. You can go apple picking, you can make caramel apples,
You can
apple
taste the
cake.
apples, the pecans, the cinnamon, the sugar. It's just a perfect cake. Doesn't get any better, so I encourage you to try it. And you know, Verna and I were talking during break. People allergic to dairy, this cake doesn't have any dairy in it. There's no milk, there's no buttermilk. We use shortening. There is no dairy. So people that can't have dairy, they would love this cake. We all love it anyway, but I mean, it would be awesome for people that can't have the dairy. So we want you to give it a try and come back and see us. My show airs on MUPO Entertainment every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Central. And I hope you'll join us. We're going to have a lot of good shows. We'll have more fall baking. We're going to have holidays for Christmas. And I do Sunday dinners a lot of times. On Sunday afternoon, I do what we call Sunday dinners. And I hope you'll join us. I hope to see you on the next show.